Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a romantic drama series called Playing with Fire from 2019. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The fourth episode opens with Andrea pulling Fabrizio out of the water. He has hurt his head and it's bleeding. Andrea starts panicking. The scene changes to little Fabrizio following Andrea in a brothel. He sees his mom lying down in the bed with another man. The scene cuts to Camilla and Martina talking while having some coffee. Martina tells her how Andrea doesn't take her advice. Camilla understands, but Andrea is really smart. Martina asks Camilla why she seems so different recently. Camilla finally admits to her that it's a man. Meanwhile, Andrea and Fabrizio have arrived at his home. Andrea suggests she stay and give him company, but Fabrizio assures her that he'll be fine. But Andrea feels guilty as it was her fault for dragging him to kayaking. But Fabrizio assures her that it wasn't. They lock eyes and Andrea starts kissing him. Back to Martina and Camilla. Martina asks her whether she isn't afraid of the consequences. Camilla is afraid, but she's almost 40, and she wants to enjoy the time she has before it's too late. Martina also agrees with her. Back to Andrea and Fabrizio. They've done the deed, but Fabrizio regrets what he has done. He requests Andrea to not tell anyone about this. Andrea is also pissed at him for acting like it's her fault. She then leaves his house. Meanwhile, Martina is bathing. She thinks about Fabrizio and feels herself. Jorge asks her whether she's coming to bed, and she replies that she'll come in a moment. The scene changes to Dolores. She's complaining to Hilario about Fabrizio and Camilla's affair. Hilario is worried about Fabrizio because Peter can be a very cruel person when necessary. Dolores is understandably frustrated for getting herself into a bigger problem. The scene cuts to Jorge. He's sitting in his car. Gildardo comes and sits beside him. He asks Jorge whether there's something wrong. Jorge tells Gildardo that Martina is acting cold towards her. Gildardo asks whether it's the medicine she's taking. But that's not the case. So Gildardo tells him that after some time women do things. But to Jorge, Martina is still young and gorgeous. Meanwhile, Fabrizio is having breakfast with Pancho. Pancho again warns him about going around with the three women. But Fabrizio likes playing with fire. While they're talking, Dolores enters the house. He asks Pancho to give her and Fabrizio some time to talk. After he leaves, Dolores informs Fabrizio that she has been working in Camilla's house. Camilla is not very careful about hiding their relationship. She leaves her computer open with all the juicy emails she sent to Fabrizio. Even a housekeeper like her can read them too. Fabrizio is frustrated, but he gets up and brings out an envelope. He drops it in front of Dolores, saying there's part of the money he owes to her. Dolores takes the money and, before leaving, assures him that she'll delete all the emails for him. The scene cuts to Martina, who's looking for Fabrizio's book everywhere but couldn't find it. Andrea then comes to her with the book in her hand. Martina screams and tells her not to touch her things. She realizes that she overreacted, so she tells Andrea sorry too. Andrea understands and expresses that she loved the book. Martina is happy to hear that. She asks Andrea why she was so dressed up. She replies that she has to meet with one of her dad's distributors for a while to make a deal. Martina tells her to give her a ride to the store on her way if possible. Andrea replies that she can give her a ride and leaves to get the car out. Back to Dolores. She is now seen copying all the information from Camilla's computer to a USB. Meanwhile, Andrea and Martina have reached the coffee shop. Martina asks Fabrizio for 2 pounds of coffee. Andrea also asks him for coffee for her drunk friend who accidentally drowns and blames her. Martina and Fabrizio brush it off as a joke. Martina then tells Andrea to go meet her dad as he's waiting for her. After Andrea leaves, Martina starts talking with Fabrizio about what happened. She asks him whether he's sure about what's going on between them. Fabrizio tells her again that he wants her no doubt. Martina is still hesitant about this, so she gives him his book back and leaves. Meanwhile, Eliseo has seen this unfold from outside the store. The scene cuts to Martina doing some paperwork in her house. Jorge comes and sits beside her. He asks her what's going on with her. Martina tells him that tomorrow is a big festival for the kids and the whole town too. She's very busy with that. She then goes downstairs. Before she comes back, Jorge goes through her phone. He tries to unlock her phone, but the password doesn't match. Before he can put it back, Martina comes back upstairs. She sees him going through her purse and gets very upset. Jorge lies saying he was looking for his sunglasses. Martina is confused as to why he suddenly cares so much about his sunglasses, but Jorge argues that he has to make rounds at the field. Martina, still upset, tells him that they're not here. Jorge understands and leaves. The scene cuts to Gildardo riding his car through the coffee fields. He sees Mari Carmen alone and stops. He asks her about Andrea, but she refuses to tell him anything. He then grabs her hand and threatens her to tell him. The scene changes to nighttime. Fabrizio is sleeping in his house. His doorbell rings, and it's Andrea. He's confused seeing her at this hour, but goes along with her. They start coming closer when Andrea gets the same call she gets every night. Someone calls her late at night, and the person doesn't talk and just breathes. Fabrizio takes the phone from her to listen, but the scene shows the caller is no one else but Gildardo. He cuts the call when he gets startled by Eliseo knocking on his car window. Eliseo tells him to stop obsessing over Andrea. Gildardo is upset that Eliseo knows about him and Andrea now. Eliseo tells him that he knows everyone's secret but keeps his mouth zipped. Gildardo asks him what he knows about Andrea, but he leaves without saying anything useful. Meanwhile, Andrea and Fabrizio are drinking beer together while chatting. Fabrizio tells her sorry for acting rude towards her before, but he feels like she's a very demanding person. Andrea doesn't deny his claims. Later, while they're sleeping, Andrea wakes up before sunrise and wakes him up too. They then go to Andrea's secret hideout. The place was previously used to store coffee by her grandfather, and he later gave it to her. Seeing the calm beauty of the place, Fabrizio is mesmerized. He tells her that from now on, he can't live without her. Andrea is confused hearing this. Fabrizio explains that he saw a nightmare before she came. She was in his dream. It was a bad dream, but she took over it and made it hers. He then tells Andrea to come closer. She does, and soon, they start making love. The scene cuts to Dolores. Hilario has come to her room to invite her to the party tonight, but Dolores tells him that she can't go as her son won't like it. Hilario decides that he won't go either. Later, Andrea comes back to her house. She goes straight to her parents' room. She informs her father that she does love coffee, but she won't work in the plantation with him. She needs 100% of her time for photography. Even though her dad downplays her photography, she's adamant at doing it. Furious, Jorge leaves the room. Martina indirectly supports Andrea's decision. But Jorge is telling himself that Andrea is just drunk and she doesn't mean it. Martina is frustrated at Jorge and says anytime they want to have an honest conversation with him, he either tells her that her pills are affecting her or Andrea is drunk. Andrea has come back to her room and lays flat on her bed. Gildardo follows her to the room. She warns him to leave. Otherwise, she will scream, but he continues asking her where she was the previous night. Andrea doesn't reply and tells him to leave now, but Gildardo starts forcing himself on her, and she kicks his private parts. Gildardo finally leaves the room. The scene changes to Fabrizio, shaving his beard. Poncho comes to his house. He tells Fabrizio that looks like he's in love. Poncho warns him that it is better that he has no ties with the women, but things will get messy if he has someone to lose. The scene cuts to the party. Everyone is present there. Everyone is dancing and enjoying themselves. Andrea is taking photos of the people there. Jorge is seen greeting Peter and his family. Andrea then introduces Poncho to Mari Carmen. She also adds that Mari Carmen is smitten with him, so they should talk, and she leaves searching for Fabrizio. Meanwhile, Martina has arranged a children's band with Tiago. The children start performing their orchestra. Everyone is enjoying the music, but the three women keep glancing at Fabrizio. Poncho also tells Fabrizio that they're looking at him. After the music performance ended, Jorge tells Martina that the performance was not up to his expectations. Martina is upset that after all the hard work they did, he can't give them a small compliment. Meanwhile, Fabrizio takes Andrea away from the party to a quiet spot. They make out and flirt there. But Andrea has to go to take some photos of the kids, so she tells him to wait for her. Back to Jorge, Gildardo has come to talk to him. He asks Gildardo whether there's something wrong. That's when Gildardo tells him that it's about Fabrizio, and he might be involved with a married woman. After Gildardo leaves, Jorge notices Martina and Fabrizio talking and laughing together. The episode ends with Jorge suspecting them, but not being able to do something. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.